My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when everything feels heavy, when the heart quietly asks, why is this happening to me? You try to stay strong, yet the difficulties continue. You pray, you hope, you wait, but the answer seems delayed. But what if these difficult moments are not meant to break you, but to guide you? What if behind the scenes, Allah is arranging something far better than what you can see right now? Sometimes the greatest help from Allah does not come in the form we expect. It comes through patience, through closed doors, through lessons that slowly shape the heart. In this reminder, we will reflect on powerful signs that Allah may be helping you during difficult times, even when everything feels uncertain. Because when Allah is helping you, the story is not ending, it is being beautifully rewritten. One, difficult times can be a sign of Allah's mercy. My dear brothers and sisters, we often believe that a comfortable life is always a sign that everything is going well, and that difficulty is always a sign that something is wrong. But the reality of this world is very different. This life was never meant to be perfect. It was never meant to be free from struggle. Allah Himself tells us that this life is a test, and every test is designed with wisdom, purpose, and mercy. Sometimes Allah gives a person ease in order to see whether they remain grateful, humble, and mindful of Him. And sometimes Allah allows a person to experience difficulty in order to bring them closer to Him, to purify their heart, and to elevate their status in ways they cannot yet imagine. Difficulty is not always a punishment. Many times difficulty is a form of hidden mercy that we may not immediately recognize. When everything in life is smooth, a person can sometimes become distracted. They may become busy with worldly matters, forget their deeper purpose, or begin to rely too much on their own abilities. Comfort can sometimes make the heart feel independent, as if it no longer needs to turn back to Allah frequently. But when a difficulty appears, something powerful happens within the believer. The heart becomes softer, the eyes become more reflective, the soul begins to search for meaning again. During hardship, a person raises their hands in dua more sincerely. Their prayers become deeper, more emotional, and more honest. They begin to speak to Allah not only with words, but with their heart. They begin to remember that true control belongs only to Allah, and that human strength alone is never enough. Difficulty also removes arrogance. It reminds us that we are not in control of everything, no matter how strong or capable we believe ourselves to be. It teaches humility, patience, and reliance upon the one who controls all outcomes. And these qualities are among the most beloved qualities in the sight of Allah. Many people discover their strongest connection with Allah during the most challenging moments of their lives. They learn how to trust Allah deeply. They learn how to surrender their worries. They learn how to find peace even when the situation is uncertain. And this connection with Allah becomes more valuable than any worldly comfort. Sometimes Allah wants to give you something greater than what you asked for, but first He prepares your heart to receive it. He strengthens your faith so that when the blessing arrives, you are able to appreciate it properly and use it in the right way. So, when you experience difficulty, do not immediately assume that something is wrong with your life. Instead, reflect on the possibility that Allah is helping you in a way that your eyes cannot yet see. Perhaps Allah is guiding you back to Him. Perhaps Allah is cleansing your heart from burdens you did not even realize you were carrying. Perhaps Allah is elevating your status through patience and sincere faith. A believer understands that every situation contains wisdom, even when the wisdom is hidden. Trust that Allah's mercy is always present, even in moments that feel heavy. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually protection. Sometimes what feels like hardship is actually guidance. And sometimes what feels like loss is actually preparation for something better that is yet to come. Never underestimate how much a single moment of sincere turning toward Allah can change the direction of your life. Difficulty has a way of waking the heart, reminding the soul, and bringing a person closer to the one who never abandons His servants. 2. When Allah removes certain people, He may be protecting you. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the most painful experiences in life is when someone we care about slowly becomes distant. or suddenly leaves our life. It can leave the heart feeling confused, hurt, and full of questions. You may wonder why a relationship changed, why a friendship ended, or why someone you trusted is no longer part of your journey. These moments can feel very heavy, especially when you invested your emotions, your time, and your sincerity into those people. But as believers, we must remember that Allah sees what we cannot see. We see the present moment, but Allah sees the future. We see the emotions, but Allah sees the reality behind every situation. Sometimes a person may appear good for us on the surface, but Allah knows that their presence could harm our peace, weaken our faith, or distract us from the path that leads to success in this life and the next. There are people who enter our lives for a temporary purpose. Some people come to teach us lessons, some come to help us grow, and some come only for a short chapter of our journey. Not every person is meant to stay forever. When Allah removes someone from your life, it does not always mean that you lost something valuable. Sometimes it means Allah saved you from a situation that could have caused you greater pain in the future. Often, when we become emotionally attached to people, we begin to rely on them more than we rely on Allah. We begin to expect from people what only Allah can provide. When those expectations are not fulfilled, the heart feels broken. But Allah, in His mercy, sometimes removes certain attachments so that our hearts can reconnect with Him more sincerely. When certain people leave, you may find yourself turning to Allah more often. You begin to make more dua. You begin to seek comfort in prayer. You begin to realize that human support can change, but the support of Allah never changes. People may leave without explanation, but Allah's care for you never disappears. Sometimes Allah removes people who bring negativity into your life. Some people may influence your thinking in harmful ways. Some may create doubt, stress, or emotional instability. Some may prevent you from growing into the person you are meant to become. Even if you cannot see it immediately, Allah may be protecting your peace by creating distance between you and what is not good for you. It is also important to understand that when one door closes, Allah is fully capable of opening better doors. When certain people leave, Allah may be creating space for healthier relationships, sincere friendships, and people who genuinely support your growth and your faith. Allah replaces what is lost with something better, even if the replacement takes time. A believer trusts that Allah's decisions are always based on wisdom. Even when separation hurts, even when distance feels uncomfortable, we must remind ourselves that Allah never takes something away without a reason. What Allah removes is never greater than what Allah can give. Perhaps Allah is protecting your heart from future disappointment. Perhaps Allah is saving your time and energy for something more meaningful. Perhaps Allah is guiding you toward an environment that helps you become stronger, wiser, and closer to Him. When people leave your life, do not allow your heart to fill with bitterness. Instead, fill your heart with trust in Allah's plan. Believe that whatever Allah chooses for you is always better than what you choose for yourself. Even when the reason is not immediately clear, trust that Allah is arranging your life in a way that leads to long-term peace and success. Sometimes protection does not look like comfort in the beginning. Sometimes protection feels like loss at first. But with time, understanding comes, clarity comes, and the heart realizes that Allah was always taking care of you, even in moments when you did not fully understand what was happening. Allah's wisdom is perfect, and His plan is always unfolding in the best possible way for those who trust Him. 3. When you are forced to be patient, Allah is building your strength. My dear brothers and sisters, patience is not something that comes easily to the human heart. We naturally want quick solutions, immediate results, and clear answers. We make effort and we hope to see progress without delay. But life does not always move according to our expectations. There are moments when situations take longer than we planned, when outcomes are delayed, and when answers do not come as quickly as we had hoped. In those moments, we may feel restless, worried, or even discouraged. But patience is not simply waiting without purpose. Patience is an active state of trust. It is the ability to remain calm even when the heart feels uncertain. It is the strength to continue moving forward even when the path seems slow. Patience teaches the believer to understand that Allah's timing is always precise, even when it feels delayed from our limited perspective. When Allah places you in a situation that requires patience, He is not ignoring you. He is developing something within you that could not be developed in comfort. Strength is not built during moments when everything is easy. Strength is built when you continue despite difficulty, when you remain hopeful despite uncertainty, and when you trust Allah even when you do not yet see the result. Sometimes patience protects us from making rushed decisions that we may later regret. When a person reacts quickly without patience, they may choose words they should not say, actions they should not take, or paths that may cause long-term harm. Patience creates space for wisdom. It allows the heart to slow down, reflect, and seek guidance from Allah before taking steps forward. Patience also strengthens emotional stability. Life will always contain unexpected challenges. Situations will not always go according to our plans. But when a believer develops patience, they develop the ability to remain steady even when circumstances change. Their peace does not disappear with every difficulty because they know that Allah is always in control. Allah sees every moment in which you choose patience instead of anger. Allah sees every moment in which you remain hopeful instead of losing faith. Allah sees every moment in which you continue making dua even when the answer has not yet arrived. None of these moments are wasted. Every moment of patience is recorded, rewarded, and valued by Allah. Sometimes the delay itself is part of the blessing. If everything arrived immediately, we might not appreciate it fully. But when something comes after patience, the heart values it more deeply. Patience teaches gratitude, sincerity, and awareness of Allah's mercy. It is also important to remember that patience does not mean that you stop making effort. Patience means that while you continue trying, you accept that the outcome belongs to Allah. You continue your journey with trust, knowing that Allah is arranging matters in the best possible way, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. Every test of patience increases the believer in maturity. It strengthens character. It increases wisdom. It builds resilience that helps a person face future challenges with greater confidence and stability. What feels difficult today may actually be preparing you for responsibilities, opportunities, and blessings that require a stronger version of you. Allah knows exactly how much pressure is needed to shape your heart in the best way. Just as pressure turns coal into something valuable, life's pressures can transform the believer into someone stronger, calmer, and more deeply connected to Allah. So, when you find yourself in a situation that requires patience, remind yourself that Allah is not delaying your life. Allah is developing your strength. Allah is increasing your capacity. Allah is preparing you for something that requires a stronger heart, a clearer mind, and a deeper trust in Him. The believer who practices patience learns that even when the situation is uncertain, their trust in Allah brings stability to the heart, and a stable heart is one of the greatest forms of strength a person can have. With patience comes growth, with patience comes wisdom, and with patience comes a closeness to Allah that brings peace even during the most challenging moments of life. 4. When your plans do not work, Allah's plan is still perfect. My dear brothers and sisters, every one of us makes plans for our life. We set goals, we create expectations, and we imagine how certain things will happen. We believe that if we work hard enough, everything will go exactly as we planned. We become attached to our own vision of the future, thinking that this specific path is the best one for us. But sometimes, despite our effort, things do not happen the way we expected. A door we hoped would open remains closed. An opportunity we wanted disappears. A plan we carefully prepared suddenly changes. In those moments, the heart may feel disappointed. We may begin to question why things did not work out the way we hoped. However, one of the most comforting truths a believer can hold on to is that Allah's knowledge is perfect, while our knowledge is limited. We see only a small part of the picture, while Allah sees everything, the present, the future, and even the consequences of every possible path. What we consider good for ourselves may not always be beneficial in the long term. And what we consider a delay or a loss may actually be a form of protection. Sometimes we become emotionally attached to a specific outcome because we believe it will bring happiness or success. But Allah knows whether that outcome will truly bring peace to our life or create difficulties that we cannot yet foresee. There are moments when something we strongly desire may carry hidden harm, and out of His mercy, Allah redirects us toward a better path. When a plan does not work, it does not mean that your effort was wasted. Every sincere effort carries reward, even if the result is different from what you expected. Allah sees your intention, your struggle, and your patience. Nothing that is done sincerely is ever lost in the sight of Allah. It is also important to understand that delays are not always negative. A delay can be preparation, a delay can be protection, a delay can be a way of ensuring that the right opportunity comes at the right time when you are ready to benefit from it fully. Sometimes we want things immediately, but immediate results are not always best for our growth. When Allah changes your direction, it may be because He is guiding you towards something more beneficial for your faith, your character, or your long-term peace. A closed door may actually prevent future regret. A missed opportunity may protect you from stress that you could not handle. A change in plans may lead you toward an environment that allows you to grow in ways you never expected. Many times in life, people look back at situations that once disappointed them and later realize that the change was actually beneficial. What once felt like a setback later reveals itself as a turning point that led to something better. This is why trusting Allah's plan brings comfort to the heart even during uncertain times. Trusting Allah's plan does not mean that we stop making effort. Islam teaches us to work hard, to strive for improvement, and to seek beneficial opportunities. But alongside our effort, we must remember that the final outcome always belongs to Allah. When we accept this truth, the heart feels lighter because we understand that we are not responsible for controlling everything. Allah's plan is always based on wisdom, even when the wisdom is not immediately clear. Sometimes clarity comes later, sometimes understanding comes with time. Sometimes we only realize the benefit of a situation after we have moved forward in life. When your plans do not work, remind yourself that Allah is never careless with your life. Allah does not forget His servants. Allah does not ignore your struggles. Every moment of your journey is known to Him. Every step is part of a larger plan that is unfolding with perfect timing. Even when the path changes unexpectedly, believe that Allah is guiding you toward what is best for your soul, your peace, and your future. Trust that what Allah chooses for you carries goodness, even if it looks different from what you imagined. A believer finds peace in knowing that Allah's wisdom is greater than their own understanding. And when the heart learns to trust Allah's plan, even uncertainty becomes easier to carry, because the believer knows that they are never walking alone. Allah's plan is always perfect, even when life feels imperfect. 5. When you feel weak, Allah is teaching you to rely on Him. My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when a person feels completely exhausted, not only physically but emotionally and mentally as well. Moments when the heart feels heavy, the mind feels overwhelmed, and the soul feels tired from carrying too many worries. A person may reach a point where they feel that they no longer have the strength to continue as they once did. During such times, a person may begin to question themselves. They may wonder why they feel so weak, why they feel so uncertain, and why things feel more difficult than usual. But weakness in the journey of a believer is not always a negative sign. Sometimes feeling weak is the very thing that reminds us of where true strength comes from. As human beings, we often rely heavily on our own plans, our own abilities, and our own expectations. We feel confident when things are under our control, and we feel secure when everything is going according to our wishes. But the reality of life is that not everything will always remain under our control. Situations change, people change, and circumstances can shift in ways we never expected. When a person feels strong all the time, they may begin to believe that they are independent. They may begin to feel that they are able to manage everything on their own. But when a moment of weakness appears, the heart begins to remember Allah more sincerely. The person begins to realize that human strength has limits, but the help of Allah has no limits. Feeling weak often leads a person to turn back to Allah with greater sincerity. The dua becomes deeper, more honest, and more heartfelt. The person begins to speak to Allah with humility, recognizing that true support comes only from Him. This humility is not a loss, it is a gift, because the one who relies on Allah is never truly alone. Allah reminds us that He does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. This means that every difficulty we face is within our ability to handle, even if it does not feel that way in the moment. Sometimes Allah allows us to experience weakness so that we can discover the strength that comes from relying on Him. True reliance upon Allah brings peace to the heart. When a person understands that Allah is in control of every situation, their worries begin to feel lighter. Even if the problem is not solved immediately, the heart feels comforted knowing that Allah is managing the outcome in the best possible way. Reliance upon Allah does not mean that we stop making effort. Rather, it means that we do our best while understanding that the final result is always in the hands of Allah. We take the steps that are possible for us, but we leave the outcome to the one who knows what is best for us. When a person learns to rely on Allah, they develop emotional balance. They do not become overly proud when things go well, and they do not become completely hopeless when things become difficult. Their heart remains stable because their trust is placed in the one who never changes. Weakness also teaches sincerity. When a person feels strong, they may make dua quickly or without deep reflection. But when a person feels truly in need, their dua becomes more meaningful. They speak with honesty. They express their fears, their hopes, and their struggles openly before Allah. This sincerity strengthens the relationship between the servant and the Creator. Sometimes Allah allows you to feel weak because He wants you to remember Him more often. He wants your heart to return to Him. He wants you to develop a connection that is stronger than any worldly support. Because when a person learns to rely on Allah sincerely, they gain a form of strength that no difficulty can take away. A heart that trusts Allah does not break easily. It may feel pain, but it does not lose hope. It may face challenges, but it does not lose direction. It may experience uncertainty, but it remains calm, knowing that Allah is always near. The believer understands that Allah is always aware of their situation. Every tear is seen by Him. Every worry is known by Him. Every silent prayer is heard by Him. Nothing is hidden from Allah, and no effort goes unnoticed. When you feel weak, remind yourself that Allah is inviting you to come closer to Him. He is reminding you that you do not have to carry everything alone. He is reminding you that His support is always available and His mercy is always near. True strength is not the absence of weakness. True strength is the ability to continue trusting Allah even when you feel weak. True strength is knowing that even when you feel tired, Allah can give you the ability to continue. True strength is believing that no matter how difficult the situation becomes, Allah can always create ease. Reliance upon Allah fills the heart with hope. It removes the feeling of loneliness. It replaces fear with trust. And it reminds the believer that every difficulty is temporary, but the help of Allah is always present. When you place your trust in Allah sincerely, you begin to experience a calmness that cannot be explained by worldly means. Even if the problem remains for a while, your heart feels supported. And a supported heart can face any challenge. Allah is the source of strength. Allah is the source of peace. Allah is the one who carries the burdens that feel too heavy for us. So whenever you feel weak, do not think that you are failing. Instead, see it as a reminder that Allah is teaching you to rely on Him in a deeper and more meaningful way. And the one who learns to rely on Allah gains a strength that stays with them for the rest of their life. My dear brothers and sisters, never think that your hardship is without purpose. Never think that your pain is unseen. Every moment of difficulty carries wisdom that only Allah fully understands. Even when the road feels long, even when the answer feels delayed, remember that Allah is always working in ways that the human eye cannot see. Sometimes Allah changes your direction to protect you. Sometimes He delays something to give you something better. Sometimes He tests your patience because He wants to raise your level and strengthen your heart. What you are experiencing today may be the very reason your future becomes more peaceful, more stable, and more blessed. Do not lose hope when life feels heavy, Do not lose trust when things do not happen according to your plans. Allah's plan is always more complete, more precise, and more beautiful than anything we could design for ourselves. Continue making dua even if you feel tired. Continue trusting Allah even when the path is unclear. Continue being patient even when the heart feels weak, because every moment of patience is seen, every sincere prayer is heard, and every difficulty is recorded with justice and mercy. The believer understands that relief comes with patience and ease comes with trust in Allah. What feels difficult today will not last forever, but the reward for patience and reliance upon Allah lasts far beyond this world. May Allah ease every difficulty you are facing, replace your worries with peace, strengthen your heart with patience, and guide you toward what is best for your life and your hereafter. Trust Allah in every situation, because the one who created your heart knows exactly how to heal it. Ameen.